We have got a new episode of the It's Geoff Wilson Show that came out this morning, and so you know what that means. It's time to react to it. Some things I agreed with him, some things not so much. Let's dive right into it. Right in the first 5 minutes of the show, Geoff was talking about how Panini, when they filed their lawsuit against Fanatics, this is a lot of what the show was about today, is that he was surprised that they had put kind of less talk about the actual lawsuit itself and more of an emphasis on the things that Panini has done to further the sports card world, to make it better for us, for the daily collectors / hobbyist. And he was a little bit surprised at that. The reason I believe Panini did that is because when you cut through all the BS of these cases, and it's just antitrust against one another, is both sides are trying to prove that they are best for the end consumer, for hobbyists moving forward. And then also Panini is trying to show all the things that they have done, and Fanatics is going to try to chop away at the things that they didn't do or they fell short on. And so the crux of the case really is going to boil down to, who do you think is better to handle sports card licenses moving forward, Panini or Fanatics? And that is really the basis of the case. Before I go forward, big shout out to today's video sponsor, Robert Edward Auctions. I had a great talk with Brian Dwyer, president over there at REA, going back about a week now. I'll put a link to that video in the video description below. Definitely check that out. REA has got some unbelievable stuff per usual. 1951 Bowman Mickey Mantle rookie and a PSA 8. 48 Leaf Jackie Robinson rookie, also in a PSA 8. Babe Ruth game used bat, PSA DNA game used 10 grade from 1922 to 24. Extremely rare tickets going back all the way. One of them, Game 1 and the program from Game 3 of the World Series in 1903, the first World Series between the Pirates and the Boston Americans. Also, one of my favorites, 53 Topps baseball original artwork in a frame display. Something I had learned when talking to the folks at REA while I was at the National is that instead of using photographs, obviously, if you look at a lot of the 50s baseball cards, it's not photos. These are art. It's artwork. It's portraits that were made, and they've got original artwork from that 53 Topps set that is in this auction. 1933 Sports Kings Red Grange PSA 8. 61 Fleer Wilt Chamberlain rookie PSA 8, and also Pokemon Japanese base set sealed booster boxes. So you get the full gamut from REA in their catalog auction going on now. It ends on August 13th, so make sure you pay attention. There's some great items to be had. Yes, it is clear, it is crystal clear that Panini and Fanatics do not get along. And I think really it's happened on both sides, because a lot of folks put so much pressure and emphasis on, oh, Fanatics is coming in with a bulldozer and they're taking over everything. But if we look at what's being alleged here in Fanatics' suit, is that essentially they were looking to make a deal. Panini was in talks to make a deal to be acquired by Fanatics. So for a company that hates Fanatics, they were about to be acquired by Fanatics. And that was something that had been going back, a year or so ago. It was all in the hobby news stuff. And I heard whispers, there was all these insider whispers, like a deal is done, a deal is in place. Well, now Fanatics is coming back and alleging that the numbers weren't right as far as the valuation. So maybe they were far ahead on talks, and then when they really dug into the numbers, the revenue numbers or whatever, all the numbers that Panini was presenting, Fanatics is saying that they were overstated, trying to get kind of more from a buyout. And so kind of killed that deal. So right there, I mean, that's kind of operating in bad faith if that is true, if it's true that Panini did do that. And Fanatics is saying that their CEO acknowledged this. So again, all the stuff that'll come out as this whole thing unfolds. But right then and there, that kind of takes Fanatics off the hook to some degree as being the aggressor. They both entered consensually into an agreement potentially, and then allegedly the numbers were not correct. So we're going to have to see how that shakes out. We've got employees moving from Panini to Fanatics. What happened there? Was there some behind the scenes stuff? That again, that's a whole separate lawsuit that will come out. But really the big thing here, the bottom line, once you cut through all of the crap, the only thing that really matters and that we know of is that Panini's products, even while QC isn't great, redemptions, kind of some stupid stuff there, a lot of mishaps along the way when dealing with Panini, they have made very popular products, really specifically between Prism, Flawless, National Treasures. I mean, these are very popular products in the market today. I collect, I've made it known, Tom Brady, and Drew Brees, and I love, as much as I do like certain Topps Chrome cards, I love this one in particular. There's a lot of them where I'm just kind of like, meh. Whereas, with Prism, I really like the Prism product design better than most of the Topps Chrome stuff. I'm not going to say all of it because, of course, there's some really cool Topps Chrome products. I'm excited to have some of the Topps Chrome football stuff back here in a few years. But it would be not good for the hobby if Panini and Prism and the Panini products that they have come out with over the last 10 years, if those just go away. I think there's a lot of interest in those. Now, will people just kind of move over to whatever Topps Chrome or Topps product? Yeah, I suppose everybody will just kind of have to. But frankly, I think that would really suck. It would suck to lose Prism, National Treasures, Flawless. Even though I'm not out buying National Treasures and Flawless boxes, I kind of like the idea of being able to buy it on the secondary market where I see kind of some value and so forth, especially with football cards where I live the most. It would be terrible, I think, for the average collector / hobbyist if there is no more Prism products. And one thing that Geoff said that I don't really agree with, he likes the Panini inserts, a lot of the kabooms and the color blasts and that sort of thing. I'm kind of meh on that, the downtowns. I'm not saying that they're not nice looking cards, but I don't look at it and think like, oh man, I just really love the inserts. But one thing that he was saying that I thought was interesting is he had that gigantic kids booth at the National where it was the kids trading booth. There was a bunch of, it was slammed. It was absolutely slammed. But the one feedback that he got from there was that you saw a lot of kabooms, a lot of downtowns, and a lot of blank slate and these different kind of Panini inserts that were being traded there. Now, if they didn't have access to those and they just had different Topps Chrome things, then maybe it just would be Topps Chrome instead of the Panini products. But you have to remember too, this is what these young people are growing up with. This will be their nostalgia. When I think about this, for me, it's 89 Pro set. It's like, what were the packs that you were opening? Who were the players you were chasing? What were the sets that you really enjoyed? Whether that be baseball, basketball, football. For these young people, it's going to be these Prism products. It's going to be these Panini products. And if it goes away, I think that would be a real shame just given the popularity. So it's clear that the hobby wants Panini's products and they want Topps products. And now you've got the companies that are going to fight over this. And unfortunately, we as the hobbyists are going to just get stuck in the middle here. This is where I think that Panini actually has quite a bit of leverage and probably where they feel like they have the most leverage. My hope is that these lawsuits, this collision and all the money that's going to be spent on these lawsuits, it just brings them back to the negotiation table and Panini sells. Because here's the other part of it too. And again, this was something that had popped up in the lawsuit is that Fanatics had bought 90% of the printer that they're both using. So Fanatics also has control of the printing facility. This is something we've talked about on the Mike's Retro Trading Card podcast. That was a huge misstep by Panini not locking in that very important piece of their business was their printer. There's not a lot of printers that can do this stuff. And so losing out on that capability, Fanatics can continue to squeeze Panini and make their products come out late. So let's just move on, a few years from now. Let's just say Panini's still in business. They don't have the licenses anymore. They're making the unlicensed style stuff the same way they do with Flawless Baseball and Prism Baseball and stuff. But the problem is that Fanatics is going to prioritize their stuff at the printing press, and so it's just another reason why Panini should just say like, you know what? Yes, this sucks that Fanatics came in the middle of the night and took all these licenses and basically, put a huge dent in our business, really hampering us. But we just got to accept that and get on with it. I mean, that's really the bottom line is that we've got to get over this thing. And they've got to move on into other parts, other licenses and other parts of their business and focus on that. Use the lawsuit to try to sell for as much as possible. Wash their hands of it, and that should be that. But I'm guessing it won't be that simple. If you want to check out Geoff Wilson and Ben's takes on the latest show, I'll put a link in the description as well for that. So certain things with Geoff I didn't necessarily agree on completely. Some things I did. And other things are just kind of common sense as you really just break down these lawsuits and try to kind of put it all together. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for joining me here today. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.